Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today I am going to deliver a lesson for class 11th subject Zoology. Now we have started a new chapter, the biomolecules or the molecules of life, and in our previous lesson we understood that how to analyze the chemical composition of living tissues. We also found that living organisms consist of both organic as well as inorganic compounds. Now, among organic compounds, proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids are the most important and common biomolecules found in living organisms. Now today we will discuss in detail about the classification, structure as well as function of various carbohydrates. Now these carbohydrates, also known as saccharides or sugars, which are basically made of the elements like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Their general formula is CnH2nOn, where N is the number of carbon atoms, or we also call them as hydrates of carbon, and the formula becomes CnH2O whole N, that is the hydrates of carbon or carbohydrates. Now we have more than one hydroxyl groups in these carbohydrates, therefore they are also known as polyhydroxy compounds. Now these are either polyhydroxy aldehydes, which have an aldehyde group, or they may be polyhydroxy ketones, which contain a ketone group. Now so far the classification of these carbohydrates are concerned, these carbohydrates are broadly classified into three types. Number one is monosaccharides, then oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. Now these monosaccharides, they are further classified according to the number of carbon atoms, which can range from 3 to 7 carbon atoms, and their general formula is CnH2nOn. Now these monosaccharides, they cannot be hydrolyzed. They have low molecular weight and are sweet in taste. They are also soluble in water and are crystalline in nature. Examples may include a 3-carbon monosaccharide, which is called as trioses. Their general formula C3H6O3. Now glyceraldehyde and this dihydroxy acetone are the common examples of trioses, the 3-carbon compounds. You can see the chemical structure of these. This is the glyceraldehyde and this is dihydroxy acetone. Now the second monosaccharide is which consists of 4 carbon atoms, such as tetrose. The example of tetrose is erythrose. Similarly, 5 carbon monosaccharides, also known as pentoses. The examples of pentoses are ribose, deoxyribose, xylose, etc., which are the important components of nucleic acids. Now another type of these monosaccharides is hexose. That is the hydrocarbons. They have the 6 carbon atoms in their structure. The examples of these hexoses include glucose, fructose, where glucose is having an aldehydic group and the fructose is having a ketonic group. Now these hexoses, they exist in two forms. Either they have a free structure as shown in this sketch here, or they also exist in the ring form. You can see here, and This is the free structure or open structure of the glucose, and this is the ring structure of glucose. Now, so far this the second type, that is the oligosaccharides, are concerned. These oligosaccharides are composed of few monosaccharide units. That may range from 2 to 9 monosaccharide units, and their general formula is CnH2nOn, and carbon, where the N is number of carbon atom, which may range from 2 to 9. Now, in this structure, these oligosaccharides, the two these monosaccharides are linked together with a glycosidic bond, as seen in this structure. These are the two monosaccharide units, and they are linked together through this alpha 1,4 linkage, also known as glycosidic linkage. Now, these oligosaccharides, they can be hydrolyzed. They are sweet in taste, also low molecular weight and soluble in water, and are also crystalline in appearance as those of monosaccharides. Now, the third type of these carbohydrates are what we call as polysaccharides. Poly means many. So in polysaccharides, many units of these monosaccharide units are linked together, and they form a polymer. Their general formula is CnH2nOn whole of N, where N is the number of subunits that link with each other through glycosidic bonds. They can also be hydrolyzed like those of oligosaccharides. They are high molecular weight compounds, and they are tasteless as against the oligosaccharides and monosaccharides, which are sweet in taste. Also, these polysaccharides are insoluble in water, and they are non-crystalline substances. These polysaccharides are formed by the polymerization of large number of monosaccharides, and structurally two types, that is homopolysaccharide and heteropolysaccharides, are present. Functionally, there are three types of polysaccharides. Number one is the storage polysaccharide. Polysaccharide in which which store the food and which can be hydrolyzed to produce monosaccharides. And second type is the structural polysaccharide. These structural polysaccharides are the fibrous polysaccharides which form exoskeleton in arthropods, cell wall of fungi and plants. Then these are the third type is the mucopolysaccharide. These mucopolysaccharides is a slimy mucilage that producing polysaccharides. Now, another polysaccharide is what we call as this glycogen. Glycogen is actually the animal starch, and then the next is the starch, which is actually the starch is actually found in wheat and rice. This is a concentric structure of a starch molecule, and here is this potato is the starch of potato or banana, which has an eccentric appearance. Now, it is a plant reserve of food formed during photosynthesis, and it is stored in leucoplastus or amyloplastus. Now, this cellulose. Now, the last this polysaccharide is what we call as cellulose. Cellulose is basically a polysaccharide and is the main substance in the walls of plant cells, helping plants to remain stiff and upright. Cellulose is the most abundant organic polymer on earth. Now, humans cannot digest cellulose because of the lack of enzyme cellulase that is actually present in the gut of various ruminants, and is important in the diet, as this cellulose is important component in the diet as fiber, as though it is not having any food value. It keeps the food moving through gut and pushes the wastes out of the body. And this was all about the carbohydrates. Now, in our next topic, we will discuss about the next important biomolecules, that is the proteins. Until then, thank you.